for only the third time since 1976, the PGA Tour is hosting tournaments in the same city for 2 straight weeks. It started last week with the Shriners Children's Open at TPC Summerlin there in Vegas. And then now Geoff Ulrich, DraftKings contributor, tournament's going to go ahead and stick around for the CJ Cup at the Summit Club in the Sin City. So this is a PGA Tour pin placement here. I need you to tell me where following guys are going to finish, all right? Jason Kokrak, defending champion, odds on the DK Sportsbook, plus 5,000. Hook me up with it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Kokrak obviously had just a monster week here last year. I mean, breaking through for his first win, it's big. Coming in this year, he made the Tour Championship again. He was 11th there, 15th at the BMW Championship, but missed the cut last week. If you look what Kokrak's been doing, he's actually been really inconsistent with his best club, which is the driver, which scares me a little bit. He was putting the lights out at this time last year when he won, and his putter's cooled off a little bit too. So honestly, it's a defending champ. The course sets up well for him. It's big, expansive. He's probably going to be able to pound driver, but he's really not playing that well. So I think all things considered here, I'm just going to peg him for like a middle of the field finish, which is about a T35. Really not expecting too much from Jason Kokrak right now. It looks like his short and medium term form has kind of cooled off a bit.
All right. Speaking of just being able to mash a little bit too, we have Justin Thomas, who's a 2-time winner. He's got his odds are much shorter at plus 1,200. How do you think he does this week?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is this one is definitely we're going a little bit higher here. I think this actually sets up as like a classic. Justin Thomas just comes in here and maybe dusts this field for a win. I mean, you look at what Justin Thomas was doing just before the Ryder Cup in the playoffs, a T4 at the Northern Trust, got himself kind of in contention at the Tour Championship, and his approach game is back on track. He went through a bit of a cold stretch there right before the FedEx Cup playoffs, but now he's gained over 2 strokes on approach in 4 straight events. The putter is actually heated up for him too, which is just a club that can give him real headaches. But, this guy has now started to look like he's put some stuff together. He had a nice Ryder Cup. He's won a lot of limited field events in the past, and the scoring's probably going to go pretty low here. I'm going to peg Justin Thomas for a win here. That's how kind of excited I am. He hasn't won for a while here. Justin Thomas is the guy who usually wins a couple times a year, so I'm expecting a big week from him. Yeah,
he just got a new caddy too, I believe.
He does. That's true.
New guy in the bag.
It could be negative, but could be. These guys. I assume he vetted his caddy, so he's probably
Yeah. So former caddy Phil Mickelson. A lot of people will see him.
That's right. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Sung JM, was he a guy you were backing last week? He won the Shriner. It was either you or Reed, one of you two, and he has plus 3,000 odds to win it this week.
Yeah, it was Reed. Thanks for bringing it up, though, Emerson. Really feel great about that. I had Matthew Wolff finish second. That was another awesome.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's okay. It got me $0, but yeah, Sung JM has been playing really solid for a while now. I mean, we look back at Sung JM's metrics here, like from an approach category. And this dude is just all in the green. He was gaining approach on approach through 12 events here. So to see him finally pop for a win, it honestly wasn't that shocking. Now look, I mean, we saw Sam Burns come in through the fall, almost win again last week after his win at the Sanderson Farm. I don't really see why Sung JM, a guy who is so used to playing every single week on the PGA Tour, can't come in here and have another solid week. He had a solid week at this event last year. The same climate, the same kind of grass going to be used. I'm going to peg Sanjay for like a T5 here. I think he gets himself right back in contention. Very, very talented all-around player. Can certainly hang with the best. I think we have some more elite players, and I think a guy like Justin Thomas is probably going to end up, blowing the doors off. But I think Sanjay will be around. I'm going to peg him for a top 5.
Okay, where are you going to peg COLLIN MORIKAWA here? Because he's a member. He's a member here, right? At Summit, one shot of 62, and he's got plus 2,000 odds. He's a guy who knows his way around this track.
When you've been around the PGA streets as long as I have, Emerson, when you hear a guy is a member at the club and people start getting excited about, oh, this guy's shot like 61 here, he's got the record, you usually you go the other way. This never works out. The membership thing, I don't know why it is, but it just never works out on the PGA Tour. Now, there's other reasons not to like COLLIN MORIKAWA this week. He looked a lot better at the Ryder Cup, but let's go back to his stroke play form. for a guy who's so good on his approaches, he lost approaches in 3 of his last 4 events. This is not the player we saw earlier in the year where he was winning, competing at the US Open, winning the Open Championship, and just being crazy good ball striking every week. I mean, can he get it together this week? Absolutely. I don't think we're going to see a long dip from Collin Morikawa, but I want players who are coming in with the form from the FedEx Cup playoffs. Collin Morikawa isn't coming in with that form. I'm going to peg him for a T20. And again, this membership thing, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
It does not work out on the PGA ever.
Well, hasn't it? It's worked out in the past for like Webb Simpson because we bring that up every year with Webb Simpson. At Quail Hollow. I'm talking, we do it every year at the tournament at Quail Hollow with Webb Simpson.
Literally never won at Quail Hollow though. So I don't know. I mean, I don't.
Well, no, I'm backing up what you're saying. I'm saying we always bring up the membership thing and we're like,
I gotcha. Ryan Palmer, Colonial.
Yeah.
It's another one. I just,
half the tour there, Arnie's place in Orlando. I feel like they're all members there.
I'll take your word.
All right, Maverick McNealy. He lives in Vegas, so this guy knows how to tackle the strip. That's for sure. Plus 8,000 though. With those odds, where do you think he finishes?
Oh man, yeah, Maverick McNealy broke my heart at the Fortinet Championships a few weeks back. Had a really good event there. He's a talented young player. You know, he can get really hot with the putter. He's very up and down. He's been playing better in this elite field. I mean, I'm not expecting a whole lot, but we do have to look back at his big body of work. I mean, before last week at the Shriners, when he missed the cut, he had made 10 cuts in a row. The ball striking was a bit better. And realistically, he lost 2.3 strokes putting last week. Like, he just rarely loses strokes putting. So I'm expecting a bounce back for him here. And again, I mean, I think that this is a solid young player who's playing a bit better. I'm going to peg him for, let's say, around a T20, T25. Again, it's a more an elite field. I'm not expecting McNealy to come in there and challenge necessarily, but I do think it's going to be a solid bounce back week for him because let's look at the medium-term form. It's pretty good. I think this course is going to set up nicely. He's not like super accurate off the tee, but big fairways in play this week. And if the putter gets hot, he can hang out for a bit. So we'll peg him for a top 25.
All right. How about TYRELL Hatton here? He finished T3 in last year's event. His odds are plus 5,000. Another fantastic golfer in this field that is loaded with him.
He is a fantastic golfer. TYRELL Hatton really just hasn't kind of, I mean, I'm very conflicted on this one. I wanted to go a couple different ways, maybe make him a bit of a shock pick. He was second at the Palmetto Championships, which is another Tom Fazio design. Tom Fazio designed the course in play this week at the Summit Club. So that's something in his favor. But realistically, I'm just going to peg him for kind of an off week. This is a player who missed the cut at the Open, missed the cut at the US Open, missed the cut at the only playoff event at the Northern Trust he played. He hasn't really done anything on the PGA Tour in like 2.5, 3 months. He played a little bit over in Europe, but again, we really haven't seen too much from him recently. So, Hatton's a player who he really needs his approach game and his putter to get hot because he's not strong off the tee. Neither of those have been clicking for him here. And I don't know if he just comes into Vegas against a good field and all of a sudden picks it up. I'm going to peg him for like a T35, T40. Not really a player I'm that interested in this week.
All right. Well, Sam Burns, how interested in him are you? We got a win. You got a T14 this season. His odds are shorter than 5,000. They're plus 2,200.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned Sam Burns already in the segment. I mean, you want to talk about a young player who's just like found his groove here. I mean, it looked like he might go back to back last week. Now, you kind of got to give him a little bit of a pass for cooling off on the weekend. I mean, he obviously coming off a huge win. Probably just ran out of gas, but still gained over 5.5 strokes, just ball striking alone last week. That's after gaining 14 strokes at the Sanderson Farms 2 weeks ago. And realistically, Emerson, this guy is a really good putter. He's lost strokes putting in his last 2 events, and that includes his win. I think Sam Burns does do just fine this week. I mean, there's so many ways that Sam Burns can make birdies, and he hasn't even heated up with his best club yet, which is the putter. So, realistically, I think just being out of contention for a week, probably give him a good break. I'm going to peg him for a top 10 here, or let's say T10. I think Sam Burns is striking it too well right now that you just want to start fading him.
Yeah, he was one of the first guys. There's a lot of Ryder Cup dudes like in this field. We've talked about some of them already. He was one of the first guys left off of the U.S. team and is certainly playing right now like he wants to be a lock for 2023.
He's a name not to forget. I mean, he doesn't have like the big wins like a Morikawa or anything like that yet, but this guy can absolutely do it all. Long off the tee, great putter, like I said.